Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Welcome to the Transformational Soul Show with your host, Ruth Soltman. Are you ready to experience more stability in your life? You can change your life and be who you are meant to be, your authentic self.
Hey everybody, my name is Ruth Soltman and this is the Transformational Soul. So I want to welcome you if you're here for the first time and welcome you back if you've been here before. Please comment and say hi, at least say hi, so that I know you're here watching. And hopefully you'll do more than just that and interact and, comment and ask questions or, whatever you would like. That makes it more fun for everybody. Hi, Kim. So nice to see you here. You were the early bird tonight. Welcome. So I'm so happy to have you here. So just a couple of reminders that Goldylocks Productions shows are also live streamed on Rumble. And you can also watch the videos afterwards on Vimeo. And those of you that are watching here on YouTube know that we live stream on YouTube. And my show and a couple others are also live streamed on Facebook. So, check out some of the other shows. There's so many really great ones. I also want to mention that next week, Robin McGuire is going to be my special guest. And some of you may have seen her on Laura's show a few weeks ago. And she's a very, very gifted medium and psychic. And she does these really amazing charm readings. So she will be here next week with us. So make sure you tune in live so that you can get a reading from her, because that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'd never seen anything with these charms before, so it was really cool. And actually, a couple nights ago, Robin did a reading for me, and we were both blown away. So it was really awesome, So I really want you guys to be able to experience her. So she will be here next week on the 4th. Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you. And Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Hi, Carissa. So nice of everyone to join in tonight. I do want to say a special thank you to Lynn Henham for her generous PayPal donation. Thank you so much, Lynn. That is greatly appreciated. And anyone who would like to make a donation is more than welcome. It's not mandatory or anything. It is graciously and greatly appreciated. And you can do so through Venmo on Facebook or Rumble and Super Chat on YouTube. So how's everybody doing this week? I've noticed a lot of crazy energy. I've been very, very sensitive to it this week, and I've been super sensitive just in general. I was sitting watching a couple of music videos today, and I was just so completely moved at such a deep level that I'm just crying. And I thought, wow, I'm really super sensitive right now. But I love it when I can watch something like that or listen to something and it moves me that deeply. It just resonated with every ounce of my being. And I just think that is such a great experience to have. So I don't know if you guys keep up with the Schumann resonances, but yesterday, I just read this this afternoon, it entered another blackout for 90 minutes. It said on this site that I looked at, which is Duncan Alexander, he has a Facebook page. It said that the significant activity that was reflected in the Schumann resonances over the last few days, which would have been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, indicates another significant shift in consciousness. And don't we already know this? We're all feeling it. We're all feeling everything about our energy expanding. We are feeling you can just feel sometimes the swirling of energy around you, and it's just amazing. So for the last couple of days, I've been kind of wondering, what am I going to talk about on the show? So the messages that I was getting is to talk about authenticity and living an authentic life. So every day when I get up, I get my book and I post a page from my book. And I just open it up and I let the angels guide me to wherever, whatever they want, what message they want for the day. So I open it up today to page 103. Look at this. Living an authentic life. And, I just love, I got chills and goosebumps all over me right now. But I just love when you get that kind of validation and that, what's the other word? Well, validation, confirmation. That you're on the right track. So I was really excited when that happened. Hi, Sarah Lee. Nice to see you, Valley. And Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. Hope you had a good birthday last week. Kim says, that explains a lot. I have been very emotional and tired. Me too. Boy, have I ever. I had like 2 or 3 cups of coffee this afternoon because I felt so sleepy. And I'm not normally sleepy during the day. Hi, Anita. I'm so happy you could be here. So yeah, that is one thing that can explain it. And as we're shifting and everything, we're going to notice changes in our body. Maybe certain foods we will gravitate more towards, maybe foods that are a little bit lighter and not such heavy feeling when you consume them. So I did pull a few cards before the show too, and I thought this was really interesting. The first one I pulled was Hello from Heaven. And the angels just want to remind you that your loved ones are with you always, that they are happy. They're happy for you. And they're really excited about you being here during this time of such great transformation on this earth. They also want to remind you to clear your space, which goes right along with living an authentic life. You have to clear out that clutter. You can't be bogged down with all this old stuff. You have to clear your space in your head, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything. You have to have it cleared so you have that free, all those areas for the energy to run. If you know anything about like Feng Shui, which I really don't, but I mean, I've read some stuff about it, but I do know that in Feng Shui, that clutter is very bad, that you want to have areas where the energy can move through. Otherwise, when it gets to that cluttered area, it just stops and gets stagnant, and you don't want that to happen. Hi, Veronica. I'm so happy to see you. Hi, Dominica. That's a pretty name. So the angels, the other cards that I also pulled was Rising Above. And we have to rise above all the crap that's going on in order to expand, our energy, in order to lift ourselves up higher and vibrate higher. And the angels want you to step into stillness. Take 10 minutes a day and just sit. Just be still. Just be there. Be with yourself. And when you do this and you have those quiet moments, you are going to feel a lot of information come to you. You're going to feel so many thoughts, and new ideas. And, that's when all that stuff will come to you. It's not when you're thinking, we always think in our head, oh, I want to do this, or I'm going to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. But when we're quiet and we relax, all that information flows to us. We no longer have to figure it all out. It just comes to us on a completely different level. So I'm really excited. I want to tell you guys just before I forget that I'm going to be doing my first masterclass on how to self-publish your book. And we have decided on the date of Saturday, August 21st. And there'll be more information coming about that, in the next couple of weeks. But if you are interested, please let me know. I just want to try to get an idea on how many people, are interested. And also, another announcement that I have is I've also extended my Reiki offer for August as well as July. So the sessions will be based on a love donation instead of a set fee. So, get a hold of me and we can get that scheduled for you so you can take advantage of that offer. I try to make it available to people so that, no matter what, if you really want to try it, we can work that out. So it's very beneficial. I mean, I talked a lot about Reiki a couple of weeks ago on my show. If you didn't catch that, you could go back and watch that, and it'll give you a lot of information on how I do my sessions. So, so that way you'll, be informed about that. So I want to let you guys know that my new book, The ABCs of Unconditional Love, is out on Amazon. Now that's just my banner across here because it was a approved copy, so that won't actually be on a book when you buy it. So I've had a couple of revelations this week that I want to share with you. And oh, Kim, awesome. Kim says, me please. Jeremy said I should write one. I have several, all comedy, real life. Awesome, awesome. Wow, that's really exciting. I will definitely write down your name and, let you know when more information becomes available. But I'm sure you will see it on Facebook. So a couple of things that came to me this week. So as I was writing my first book, Metamorphosis, I would get information, from my angels and guides. Sometimes they would just give me words. Sometimes I would hear a phrase. Sometimes it would be an idea or a thought. And all of this transformed into what became my book. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night and have a thought or idea, and I would write it down. Sometimes I'd be driving in the car, and as soon as I stopped at a light or something, I would type it on my phone, because otherwise I would completely forget what it was. While I was getting this information, I was getting information for some other books too, which is the next 3 that I've done. And, I started putting all these pieces together. I've always kind of been a late bloomer, but now I realize that there's an overall common message in all of these books. They're all about healing, about self-healing, about healing yourself. One is unconditional love, one is forgiveness, and one is self-healing. And they just keep telling me over and over and over that forgiveness is the first step in healing. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for your super sticker. Oh, thank you. Don't ask me what it is because I don't remember, but my son got it for me at a holistic festival that we went to a couple of years ago. And it's the first time I've worn it. So I was pretty excited about it. So they keep telling me how forgiveness is the key to everything, and it's the beginning of everything. So we have to learn, and it's not an easy thing to do. We have to learn how to forgive. We have to learn how to forgive other people that we feel have harmed us or hurt us in some way, maybe with their actions, maybe with their words. We also have to learn to forgive ourselves. And, we all know that that's not always an easy thing to do, because sometimes we do really dumb things and we think, well, why did I do that? What is the matter with me? But you know what? You've got to get past that. You've got to get over that. And, there's a lot of different situations. Sometimes, we hang on to stuff from the past, like in the form of a grudge. I knew this woman one time who held on to a grudge from her childhood, and she was probably like in her 60s or 70s, and she had that grudge her whole life. It caused her some health problems, although she would probably never admit that's what caused them. But when you hold on to that negative energy, it can't possibly have a positive effect on your body. It can't have an effect on your life in any way. So as I started writing and everything and realized that this is the direction that I was headed, I really feel like my purpose is to help people wake up to the truth of who they are so that they can live an authentic life. And, some people say, well, what's an authentic life? Well, that is living life in your truth. You can't just say, this is who I am, and not walk that talk every single day. You have to live in that truth every day. And so many times in our life, we've let people control us, make our decisions for us, guilt us into decisions, threaten us into decisions that we didn't want to make. And then we have bad feelings about that, don't we? These are the kinds of things we need to let go. We have to take back our power. We have to empower ourselves. We, we can no longer wear these masks pretending to be somebody that we're not. We have to be real. It's all about realness, real and raw and authentic. And, think about when you go outside on a sunny day and you look up at the sun, like it's so bright you can't even look directly at it. That your light is brighter than that. It is brighter than that. And you have to be able to peel away all of these layers of crap that you've been carrying around with you for years and years and years so that that light can shine through. That's not a physical light. It's a spiritual one. So it's not going to blind anybody. But imagine the energy of the sun, of that light that's that powerful inside of each and every one of us. And when we shine that light, what do? We raise our vibration and the vibration of everything. We raise the vibration of everything. So that's what we need to do. I mean, this is what, this world desperately needs right now. Desperately. We need to be in a place of the highest vibrations of unconditional love and light. And we need to stay there. And yes, I know, things can happen every single day. They try to knock you down out of that place. But we have to stay there as best as we can and keep striving to climb higher. We are all here right now, all of us, to assist with the awakening of humanity and raising the vibration of humanity and this world, raising the consciousness. That's what we came here to do. Every single one of us. But we have to start with healing ourselves first, because then we will be whole and living in our truth. And then, our vibration is going to be so magnificent, and it's going to filter out and ripple out and affect everyone. And let's see, I have a couple notes here. Okay, so where's it going to begin now? It's all going to begin with us. And it has to. We are each and every one of us. Now you think about this, because this is kind of mind-blowing when you actually start to wrap your head around it. There's how many people in this world? What, billions? I really don't know the numbers, but I know there's probably billions, a lot. Now, each and every single person is a small piece of this puzzle. Every one of us. We matter. We all matter. Each and every one of us. You've got to start thinking like you matter. You've got to start thinking like you can make a difference. And you do make a difference. You need to realize the importance of this role that you came to Earth for. So we need to live in our truth. Let's see. Read a couple comments here. Kim says she just tossed yearbooks from high school and old pictures of people I don't hang with anymore. Literally 150 pounds have passed. That is really amazing. And I bet you feel a lot better. Like it kind of like lifted because you felt the energy lift. And Veronica said, that's great, Kim. I did that last year and the weight lift was huge. Yes. And Lynn says, that's good, Ruth. We can all make a difference. Yes, we can. But when we are holding ourselves down and holding ourselves back because of all this excess baggage we're carrying around, our light gets a little bit dim. So we need to get rid of all of that. And, we've got to live in our truth. We absolutely have to. And like I said, over and over and over, they repeatedly tell me forgiveness is the first step. Forgiveness is the first step. Now, think about issues you may have had in your past with someone. And sometimes we bury them really deep and we just pretend like they're not even there because we don't want to face them. Maybe it's too painful. Maybe it was like something you feel was a huge mistake. So you really don't want to revisit that. But sooner or later, you're going to have to, because what will happen is all that stuff is still there, and things are going to trigger you, and you're going to react the way you did in that situation, because it's going to trigger whatever feelings you had in that situation. And these triggers are going to continue throughout your life as they bring these issues to the surface. Once they come to the surface, they need to be healed and released. Then they can be resolved, removed. You can be rid of them. And then you can move on with your life. Why not do it now? Right now is all we have. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. We don't all know that we're going to wake up in the morning. And the best time to start is now. Healing is a process. It's not like you can just snap your fingers and, ooh, I'm healed. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of deep work. You have to go so deep inside. But when you do, you are going to be such a different person. This healing will affect everything in your life. It won't just make your head feel a little clearer, but everything will be different. You will release so much negative energy. All this negative energy, while it's there, when this good stuff is coming in, it's getting stopped by the negative wall that's there, because it's like a big brick wall of energy, negative energy, and nothing's going to get past that. But once you take down those blocks and you clear it away, it's going to dissolve. It's going to be gone. And then you can, move on with your life. Sometimes we might think we've got it all done, and a situation will arise and we're like, oh God, that just triggered me. I thought that I was done with this. Sometimes we might not there might be fragments of a past hurt. We need to try and remove all of it. And, this is all work that you have to do yourself. Nobody can do it for you. You may be going through a rough time and be really upset, in tears, crying about something as you're healing. And, you might need a friend, shoulder to cry on or something, but they can't do the work for you. They can help you through it, but they cannot do it for you. And once we can release all of this stuff, then we are able to see ourselves for the truth of who we are. And then we're able to live in that place of authenticity. Okay, Sarah Lee says, Melissa Parks and I just talked about a lot of this. Wow, God is showing so much. Yeah, and isn't it wonderful when you get confirmation like that and validation? That never ceases to amaze me. It's like when I opened up my book this morning to that page on authentic life, I was like, oh, wow, that is so incredible. I can't believe it. But I'm like, of course I can. Because, if I hadn't have been paying attention and I was in a hurry and I just took a picture real quick, I might not even have realized what it was. It might not have clicked. Because sometimes we get so busy in our lives that we don't notice the messages that we're getting. So sometimes we just have to be a little more mindful. Maybe you don't have to slow down, because I know a lot of people have busy lives, but try to be more mindful of the messages that you're getting, because I guarantee you are getting messages, and you are getting a lot of messages at this time right now. Lynn said, thank you, Ruth. What you are saying about healing is true, and it's very affirming. Well, I'm very glad to hear that, Lynn. Very glad. And anybody that's done any inner work, inner self-healing knows that it's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. Veronica just said, the tough inner work is extremely worth it. It is worth it. And it does make you feel like a whole new person. And, sometimes we have to go through things. We go through them, of course, for the lessons that we learn. And everything that we go through is for our best and highest good. And, I know sometimes it's hard to believe that when we go through just terrible, terrible events in our lives. But we grow through all of these experiences. And when we do, what is that? It's a lesson. Um, and, we might not think when we lose a loved one that it's something that that's going to, I don't want to say, but that's going to be, for our best and highest good. Because we grieve and we have that sense of loss. But once you get past that, there is always something that you see on the other side. I know for me, when my mom passed, I mean, I was like beyond devastated. And I stayed in my place of grief for quite a while. But through my grief process, I learned so much about myself. So, that was one lesson that came from that for me, was all the different things I learned about myself. So they always say that everything is either a lesson or a blessing. And sometimes, I mean, why aren't lessons blessings? They are. As long as we learn from them, we can have a lesson given to us and we just don't see it. We just don't acknowledge it. We don't learn anything from it. Well, it's going to come back around. So if you don't work on it and do it at the time, it's just going to come back. When you have an argument with someone, people disagree all the time. And if you have an argument with someone, instead of, being mad at them or yelling or not speaking or whatever, everybody deals with things in their own way. Some people just like to sweep it under the rug, pretend it didn't happen. Nobody ever, you never get any closure to it. Well, over time of doing that, it's going to cause you to have some of that healing work that you're going to need to do because of that. When you have a disagreement with someone, talk it out. Don't yell, don't call them names. Talk it out right then and there. And, put your concerns to rest. Then 6 months from now, you're not going to have to heal from that because you already took care of it. And we need to do that with all the situations in our life. Don't just react to something. A reaction is usually something quick and not thought out. Respond. But don't just quickly react when something happens. Because that always seems to be something that's kind of negative and sometimes gets people into some trouble too. Okay, Dominica says good night. Good night. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Joyce says working and feeling like there's progression. That's awesome. That's awesome. And sometimes we bury things so deeply because it was something maybe that hurt us so much. But remember, as you are bringing this up to the surface, you are not the same person you were when you experienced that. If you were to experience that in your life now, like say it was an abusive relationship. Say you were in a relationship with someone who's just so awful to you and you have a lot of healing to do from that. Well, maybe you were 19, 20 years old then, and now you're like 40. Are you that same person now? No. If you encountered a relationship like that now, would you give any energy to it? No, because you're a totally different person. We have to forgive ourselves for things that we did when we didn't know better, or when we did them for reasons that were really not our own. Sometimes when we're young, we think, oh, I want to get out of mom and dad's house. I want to be on my own. I want to be an adult. Or, oh, this person said they love me, so they must love me. When you're young, you don't have a lot of life experience. You have nothing to compare things to. So a lot of times when we're young, we do make mistakes. I don't want to say mistakes. We make choices that we wish we wouldn't have made. And there's always a lesson in that too. So just remember, as you're going through your stuff, a lot of the stuff that you're probably going to be working on is nothing that would ever fall into your life now, because you were such a different person then. You didn't know who you were. You didn't know what you wanted. You didn't know why you were here. And you know that stuff now, at least most of it. Um, so keep that in mind and don't be so hard on yourself. You know, part of our self-healing is loving ourselves. How many people were taught to love themselves when as a child? I mean, to put their needs first. I sure wasn't. And I mean, I had a great upbringing. My parents were wonderful, but this was the way of thinking in society back then, you know. There was the woman, she was the wife, the mother, she did everything for everybody. And, you know, maybe, you know, at midnight when everybody else's needs were taken care of, if she wanted to, you know, take 5 minutes to herself, she could, but by then she was too exhausted. And I think that it has changed a lot, you know, going forward. I know, like, this is something that I really didn't realize till I was in my 40s. You know, you have to fill yourself first before you have anything to give to anybody. You have to love yourself first. If you can't love yourself unconditionally, how do you have unconditional love to give to anybody? You don't. It all starts with you. Everything starts with you. And, you know, that's kind of really exciting when you realize it. And then again, you know, for some people, it's probably pretty scary thinking, oh, great, this is up to me now. But it is up to you. And the choices are all yours. And it's kind of exciting because you are in the driver's seat of your own life. You get to decide for yourself. You get to decide for you. Nobody else gets to. And, you know, that's a really, really great place to be. And Sarah Lee says, healing from trauma is like climbing a mountain, and then there's an elevator at the rip doors open, waiting to take me to the fantastic new. Okay, wait, top, not rip. Okay. An elevator at the top. Doors open, waiting to take me to the fantastic new. That is beautiful. And you know, it is true. And we all have stuff in our past. I don't know or have never met one single person that didn't have stuff in their past. Everybody does. But we can't let it control our life now. And if you don't heal it and get rid of it, and it keeps coming up in different areas of your life, it's going to control you. It has control over your life. And we can't live in the past. You know, that stuff is all done and gone. We have to live in the now, and we can't live in the now if we are holding on to the past. That is why it's so important to get rid of that. We got to get rid of that energy. There's so much amazing energy on this earth right now coming in. I mean, it's just like spiraling around, and it's just absolutely beautiful, you know, in every way. And we need to make room in our energy field for it. So we got to get rid of this negative stuff. We've just got to do it. And now is the best time. Richard Riddle, hello. And Richard says, you have to make time for yourself. You do. And in our busy lives, you know, most families have both parents work, and then there's children, and then children have, you know, extracurricular activities. There's dinner. And not just families. I mean, single people, older people, younger people. It's everyone. Everyone is so busy all the time. They're busy doing things, but we need to get busy being, not just doing. We need to be. We need to be still. We need to be quiet. We need to be with ourselves and sit with ourselves and feel, just feel. And when you do that and you get in that quiet place, you can feel the energy. Sometimes it'll feel like your body's vibrating. Sometimes you'll hear buzzing. You know, it'll come to people, each person in a different way. Sarah says, self-love is really hard to do. Okay. Do you really feel it's hard to do? Is it hard? Why is it hard for you? Well, I guess would be my best question. I think for me, the self-love was difficult because I hadn't grown up believing that. I mean, I can remember hearing people say, oh, they're so conceited. Look at, they're all about themselves. Self-love is all about yourself but not in that kind of way. Self-love is not, oh, I think I'm so beautiful. I am just, the best. No, self-love is loving yourself. It is taking care of yourself, putting your needs first. I keep seeing this picture in the airplane. You know how when you're in the airplane and they go through the whole spiel about the oxygen thing dropping, and they always tell you to put it on yourself first and then assist a child. Why? Because if you don't, you could be overcome with fumes or whatever the situation is and pass out, and then the child has no one to help them. You have to help yourself first. And I've been seeing that picture a lot in my mind lately, and it just kind of makes me laugh. It's very simple, but it's very true. We have to put on the oxygen mask first before we're going to be breathing oxygen and be able to help somebody else and assist someone else. So, it's just a process of changing your thoughts and your ideas and your beliefs about yourself. I mean, I know if you look, you watch some of these old TV shows and you can, like, maybe from the 70s, and the way they viewed women was a lot different. And, I have to sometimes remind myself, because I'll see clips here and there, and I just remind myself this is just a TV show, even though this is how it was back then. We are so, what's the word? Well, we should be so grateful for all of the opportunities and experiences that we get now, that we get to have, and we need to take advantage of that. We need to take advantage of that. We need to be living in our truth, be living in our purpose with our passion. What are you passionate about? If you can't do something with, passion in your soul, it's like, how much fun is it? It really isn't. Then it does become work. And who wants that every day? Wouldn't you love to be able to get up every day and do something that you love, something that, sets your soul on fire? Maybe you can't do it 8 hours a day. Maybe it's something you do for a few hours, but it will help you grow so much to be able to live in that place within yourself. Let's see. Sarah Lee said, bones, vibrations, and buzzing. Wow. She says, I think I still forget to keep myself in the equation. Well, you need to put in your number first. You really, really do. And, I could think of, like, when I was a kid, and like I said, I had great parents. I don't remember having any, like, horrible things happen in my childhood. There was always a lot of love in our house and everything like that. But I also remember my mom, just from the time she got up until the time she went to bed, and she was a stay-at-home mom, but constantly taking care of someone, taking care of something for someone. And even as she got older, she never did change that train of thought of putting herself first, even after my dad had passed away. She didn't, and I guess, you have to see value in yourself and in what you do. And when you do, it changes everything, and if you don't value yourself and respect yourself and love yourself, you cannot expect someone else to, because you show people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. So if you're really down on yourself and just always have negative self-talk, and people hear that, do you think they're going to be, treating you like a queen? No, they're going to know that you have a lower opinion of yourself, and they're going to take advantage of that because they know they can. People only treat us the way we allow them to treat us. And, I know how terrible that sounds to anybody who's been in a horrible relationship or an abusive relationship. But when you think back to those times, the person that you were then did allow that for whatever reason. I can think of a couple of times in my life, when I was in a relationship and, I would let the person walk all over me, sure, whatever you want. Because the ideas that I had about that relationship were not truth. They were a story. You could say a story, that I made up. The way I thought it was not the way it was at all. Okay, let's see. Richard said, making yourself happy. Happiness is not on the outside. That is right. And we have to choose every single day to be happy, don't we? But it is something that we get to choose. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be bubbling over every single second, because you're still going to have things that, you're like, oh God, no, I'm having a stressful day, and you still will have a stressful day, but you will still have that peace and happiness inside, that inner peace and that inner happiness. And it's not affected by anything on the outside. It's just not affected by anything on the outside. Melissa Parks. Hi, Melissa. She says, hello, Ruth, speaking the truth. Well, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. So I was just shuffling my cards, and this card fell out, so I'm going to share it. It says taking action. And it says, I enthusiastically embrace life's boundless possibilities. Boundless possibilities. And they're not limited. Our possibilities are not limited only by our mind and only by what we decide not to do or to do. And we limit ourselves. Sarah Lee says, I finally learned that I'm the sister, not the mom. Well, that's good. That is good. Because sometimes we take on, everyone within a family setting will take on a certain role. Like some people will be the glue that, make sure everybody stays together, make sure everybody's in the loop. You'll tell this person, you'll tell Joe what Sam said, because Sam, doesn't want to take the time to talk to Joe. So you'll relay messages between everybody. You'll make sure everybody gets to where they need to be. You hold it all together. Well, what happens when you don't? People need to be able to function fully themselves. Kim says, universe has given me a great opportunity to be alone and heal. I woke up to roosters and have wild horses visit the yard, forced me to learn and love me. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And a lot of times that will happen when we're on this spiritual journey. We'll get to a place where we are going to be alone for a while. Alone meaning not in a relationship. But it's because we need that time. We need that time for ourselves. We need that time to become whole and fix all of our broken parts. Because, sometimes we do have those shattered pieces, and we have to fix them. We cannot look to someone else to come into our life, like the white knight on the shining, or the knight on the shining horse, whatever, the shining knight on a white horse, however it is in the fairy tales. Life is not like that. We're not going to have someone ride in here and do it all for us and, make us be able to live in our truth. Excuse me. We have to do it ourselves. We have to do all of the work ourselves. But just imagine, once you know how to do this, think of how differently it's going to be for the next generation. They're going to learn all this stuff when they're younger. They're going to learn about loving themselves first. They're going to learn about unconditional love. They're going to learn not to hold things in and bury them. They're going to learn to heal them when they occur. And imagine what an amazing generation that's going to be. And these kids that are coming in, there's some very, very intuitive. They're very psychic. There are a lot of gifts and very open about things. And with them growing up with these kind of attitudes that we're finally learning, it's going to make life so much easier for them. Everything's going to happen so much faster for them. They're going to be able to be master manifestors before they know it. And then they raise their children the same way. Think about what it's going to do for all these future generations. So this card just flipped over. It says, hearing messages from spirit. And it says, I am a clear channel for messages from spirit. And we all are clear channels for messages from spirit. We may not realize it. We may not think we are. But have you ever gone somewhere and let's say it's someplace you haven't been before, and you're driving down the road and everything's unfamiliar because you've never seen it before. And all of a sudden you get this urge to turn right and you have no idea why. So you follow it and you turn right. And, let's say you were lost and had no idea where you were, but you had this urging to turn right. And when you did, it took you to exactly the place you needed to be. But that was a message from your intuition or your angels. We get these all the time, but we just dismiss them and think it's like nothing. Not everyone, some people do recognize it. I know when I used to get messages, a lot of the time I was like, I don't understand this. I don't know why I'm getting this sudden desire to do this. But then I would do it and it would be exactly what I needed. And then I started realizing over time that, wow, this is like my intuition or my angels talking to me. And that I started listening to it more and more and more. And the real key is, and this is the hard part, you might hear the messages or see them maybe in numbers or a song, or you might get a feeling or a vision might pop into your head, and you might just dismiss it. But the hard part is trusting it 100%. But when you do, that is what is going to change everything for you. That's what changed everything for me. I would get messages and I would be like, well, okay, yeah, I think this is the way to go, but I'm going to need some confirmation on this because I am just not sure. And then I would get confirmation or validation in one way or another. And I'd be like, well, yeah, I really did know that all along, but I didn't trust it. And once I started trusting it, oh my gosh, it's like, the messages just flow so much faster, so much better, and so much clearer once I decided to trust it. And as I was just talking about that, this card flew out, letting go. And it's just so beautiful how all of these cards have contributed to the message that they intended for tonight. It says, I surrender joyously to the ebbing and flowing of life. We have to go with that flow. We have to, just go with the flow. Let's see. Let's look at some messages here. Okay. Sarah Lee says, peace and in the storm at the same time. Yes, very true. And Sarah said to Melissa that I've been talking about the things that they were talking about earlier today. Coincidence? I think not. I always kind of laugh when something will happen and I'll hear somebody say, wow, what a coincidence that is. I don't believe in coincidences at all. It's a reminder. It is a message. It is a confirmation or validation, whatever you want to call it. But it's for a reason. And I just think that is so awesome. Richard said, we got the deprogrammer ourselves from the society's rules and live by the heart. That is beautiful, Richard. And that is spot on. That is spot on. And, in a way, we have been programmed. We were talking a couple weeks ago about, commercials and how we can remember commercials from our childhood. And if that doesn't show you how deeply ingrained, things are within us, from our society, I don't know what does. But, we've been taught for so many years, this is what we should be doing. Just like when I was younger, it's like, well, you're an adult, you get married, you raise a family, that's what you do. When I first got out of high school, there were not a lot of options for women. And going to college, if your family was pretty well off, they could pay for college. If you were dirt poor, you could get funding. If you were somewhere in between, you got nothing. You were just out of luck. Thankfully, that did change over the years. But that's how, it was then. So there were not a lot of opportunities for women. But that has all changed, over the years. And it just keeps changing. But that was one of the ways that, I just remember hearing options like, well, you could become a hairdresser or a secretary, But really, you should just get married and have kids because, that's what you're supposed to do. I was never one who liked to hear what you're supposed to do. I don't like being put into this group with everybody else. And especially not after I got older. Maybe when I was younger, I was a little bit more gullible, with things like that. But then as I got older, I was like, oh, no way. No way. Oh, here's the box. Okay, I'm stepping out of that. That's not going to confine me. I don't like labels. We are who we are. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There are certain things about us, but I don't like everybody just, segregating these groups of you're over here and you're over there and you go over there and, well, okay, yeah, you belong in that group. And, that stuff has never jived with me ever. And you see it so much now. And it makes me really, really sad because we don't belong in any groups. We are all one. How are you going to group that off? We are all one. We all wear different clothing. Like our spirit wears our body as clothing. Okay. So our clothing is all different. But when you take that off, what's underneath is exactly the same. It's all the same. And that's something that, we are really waking up to that fact and that idea. And, through religion too, depending on how you were raised. Like I was raised Catholic. We went to church every Sunday. We went to Catholic school. But one thing that I found for me personally, and I'm not knocking any religion, even as a child, I've always asked a lot of questions. I still do. I may ask more now than I even did when I was a kid, but people couldn't answer my questions for me. And even like, my parents would take me to go talk to the priest and, tell him what you asked us. And nobody would ever give me answers. And I didn't like that. As I got older, it didn't resonate with me that, I think there's truth in every religion, but I feel that religions are, man-made. That's how man interprets God or source or our creator and what we're supposed to do. If we just love each other, and we show that love all the time, you know, that's all we need to do. Love ourselves and everyone else. And, I'm pretty sure that that is in and probably at the core of every major religion. Of course, it's worded differently, you know, but um, that's where it's at. It's very simple. We humans are the ones that complicate everything. We can't just, accept things for the simple truth that they are. We have to complicate them with all of our stuff. And then all that does is cause problems. We've got to get this off. We got to strip it down to our bare essence. Let's see. Joyce said, a lot of numbers lately and wake up with real old songs in my head. Oh, I love that. Lynn says, yes, letting go. That's what I've been doing. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Lynn. And Veronica says, thanks. Today's show has been wonderful validation. Oh, that's awesome. That just gave me chills. And so, I love this. Another card just flipped over as I was sitting here shuffling them. And look at what it says. Healing the past. I'm telling you, I just love this. It says, I step into my future with strength and clarity. And you step into your future with strength and clarity because you've healed your past. So that's just validation over and over for me today about this working on forgiveness and working on issues and getting to the core of who you are. We all know on some level, the very basic core of who we are. We have all this other stuff that overshadows it sometimes. And sometimes we might feel like we lose ourselves, but we don't. We will never lose ourselves. We might let other things, like I said, overshadow what's going on in our life. But who we are at our very essence will not change. We're this beautiful, unconditional love and light. And we are magnificent beyond anything our human brain can comprehend. We just don't realize it yet. Slowly, we're starting to. Kim says, thanks for sharing your message and teaching us more. Well, you are so welcome, Kim. Thank you so much for being here. Lynn says, wow, healing the past, perfect fit with everything you have been saying. I know, it just blows my mind. And as I was sitting here with the cards, randomly, one would just fall over. It would flip over accidentally, and that's the one that I would show you guys. And every time, it was a message that coincided with what we've been talking about all night. And I just love when that happens. And I notice it more and more, getting ideas or thoughts. And then something will happen. I'll run across something and that will completely validate that. And I'm like, yep, I know this is the right path. We see these messages, these signposts all the time. We just have to start paying attention to them and validating them for what they are. Well, we are almost out of time. So I just want to remind you guys that next week, Robin McGuire will be here with her beautiful charms. And, she'll be giving us some readings. And that'll be a lot of fun. Oops. I hope you guys can tune into that. And also keep your eyes open for some more information on this masterclass. And I know, Kim, you had said you were interested. So I'm going to jot your name down on my list so I don't forget. And anyone else, just let me know. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. Joy says, thank you, letting go each day and more in tune with myself. That is awesome. See, you guys are doing the work. Sarah Lee said, great validation for me too. Thank you. You are so welcome. You are so welcome, Lynn. Everybody have a really good night. And come back next week when Robin will be here, because I know you guys are really going to enjoy that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm very, very grateful. I love you guys so much. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron.
Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.